I stood there, door half open, rain slashing sideways, staring at the woman who'd destroyed me 8 hours ago. Emily Carter, my CEO, the ice queen who'd called my life's work embarrassing in front of 20 people. Now she's on my porch, drenched, desperate, begging, clutching a terrified kid who looked just like my Lily. Every bone in my body screamed, slam that door, let her drown in her own arrogance. But the boy whimpered and I heard myself say, come in, before I change my mind. Your proposal is embarrassing, Mr. Marshall. Don't waste our time again. 6 hours later, those words still burned in my skull while I tucked Lily into bed. My hands shook, not from cold, from pure rage I had to bury because my 7-year-old was watching me with her mother's green eyes. Daddy, you're sad again. Just tired, bug. You're always tired now. Truth hit different from a kid. 3 years since Sarah died. 3 years since I went from lead engineer to night janitor in the same damn building, same hallways, different life, the kind of fall that breaks men. I kissed her forehead. Sleep tight, math test tomorrow. Can we do Mickey pancakes? Always. I left her nightlight on. She couldn't handle darkness anymore, not since her mom, and headed to the kitchen. The house groaned around me, pipes rattling, roof leaking. I had 5 buckets positioned like some pathetic orchestra waiting for the storm. Thunder cracked hard enough to shake the windows. Perfect. I grabbed a beer and collapsed on the couch. Clicked on the weather. Severe thunderstorm warning. Expect power outages, flooding. I shut it off. Didn't need a TV to tell me my life was flooding. This morning kept replaying. The boardroom, 20 executives in $1,000 suits, and her, Emily Carter, 34, Harvard MBA, CEO for 6 weeks after Daddy retired and handed her the kingdom. Hair pulled tight enough to crack her skull, suit sharp enough to draw blood, eyes like a winter storm, gray, cold, merciless. She'd walked in late. Everyone stood. I didn't. Learned that game the hard way. She ignored me until I started presenting. Mr. Marshall, her voice could freeze fire. You're the janitor, correct? 20 people suddenly fascinated by their coffee. Former lead engineer, ma'am. I've been with this company. Answer the question. My jaw locked. Yes, custodial staff. And you think you're qualified to restructure our operations? I designed half the systems we use, so yes. Wrong move. Her eyes went nuclear. Confidence is cute. Delusion isn't. She stood. This proposal is rejected. You want flexible hours based on family needs. We're not running a daycare, Mr. Marshall. We run a Fortune 500 company. Dismissed. If you'd just look at the data, I said dismissed. Those eyes pinned me like a bug. Future reference custodial staff, don't get boardroom time. Stay in your lane. The room went silent as a grave. I gathered my papers with shaking hands, walked out, spent 8 hours mopping floors in the building I used to manage while her designer heels clicked past me, like I was furniture, like I was nothing, like Sarah had never looked at me like I hung the moon. Now I sat in my falling apart house drinking cheap beer, listening to the storm roll in, wondering how much more a man can take before he breaks completely. The rain hit, not gradually, like God ripped the sky open and said, Texas needs another flood. I checked Lily, still asleep, thank God, and started moving buckets. Wind screamed. Lightning turned everything white. Then the power died. Total blackness except for lightning that made shadows dance like demons. I grabbed my flashlight and the camping lantern. Lily's door cracked open. Daddy, just a storm baby, come here. She ran and I caught her. 45 pounds of wild curls and my entire world. I'm scared. I know, but we're safe. The dark's just the light taking a break, remember? She giggled through her fear. That's silly. Maybe, but it's bang, 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 not knocking, pounding, desperate, violent. Lily clutched my neck. Who is it? Stay here. I set her on the couch with the lantern and grabbed the baseball bat by the door. This neighborhood after dark. You don't answer unarmed. The pounding continued. I yanked the door open. Emily Carter stood there drenched like a drowned cat, designer suit plastered to her, mascara running black rivers down her face. Her perfect bun had surrendered, and behind her, barely visible, a little boy sobbing his heart out. "You!" She had to scream over the wind. "I need your phone." I stared. This woman gutted me 8 hours ago. Now she's begging on my porch. God has a sick sense of humor. "Please." Her voice cracked. "My car died. Phone's dead. I have my son." And lightning cracked so close the thunder was instant. The boy screamed, "Please." I looked at her, really looked. The CEO armor was gone, just a terrified mother holding a scared kid. I'm not my anger. I'm the man Sarah married, the man who helps, even when it kills me. "Come in." I stepped back, before I change my mind. Relief hit her face like a drug. She dragged the kid inside. I slammed the door against the storm. They stood in my entryway, water pooling, both shaking like leaves. "Daddy." Lily appeared with her lantern. "Who's that? How do I explain this?" Miss Carter and her son. Storm caught them. Emily stared at Lily, then me, then back at Lily. I could see her brain short-circuiting. "The janitor has a kid." "Hi." Lily smiled. "I'm Lily. You're really wet." The boy hiccuped a sob, soaked through, shivering, red eyes. I knelt to his level. "Hey, buddy, what's your name?" Jacob." "Strong name. My daughter's got dry clothes that might fit. And something for your mom. Sound good?" He nodded, crying. Emily stood frozen, like kindness was a foreign language. "Bathroom's down the hall. Towels are there. I'll find dry clothes." "You don't." "I know I don't. Doing it anyway." I looked at her straight. "That's what people do. They help." Direct hit. She flinched. "Lily, take Jacob to your room. Find those star pajamas. Aunt Marie sent the 2 big ones." "Okay." Lily grabbed his hand like they'd known each other forever. "I have a turtle nightlight. It makes stars." The kids vanished. Emily and I stood there, water dripping, awkwardness thick enough to choke on. "I'll get clothes. They'll be huge but dry." "Mr. Marshall." "David, you're dripping on my floor. Use my first name." "David," she swallowed. "Thank you." "Don't yet. You're getting my ex-brother-in-law's Longhorns gear. Fair warning, hideous." I grabbed the clothes from my closet, leftovers from when Sarah's brother visited, never returned after he fled to Colorado, and handed them over. "Bathroom there. I'll make tea. Got a camp stove." She took the clothes like gold. "You have a generator." "Borrowed one during the ice storm. Never gave it back." I shrugged. "I'm terrible." Was that almost a smile? No. Emily Carter doesn't smile. She disappeared. I checked the garage generator dead naturally and hauled out the camp stove. By the time she emerged, water was boiling and both kids were on the couch giggling under blankets. Emily Carter, CEO, stood in my hallway wearing orange Longhorn sweats pooling at her feet and a sweatshirt hanging to her knees. Hair wild. No makeup, no armor, human. Tea got chamomile, peppermint, or sleepy time. Lily's grandma swears by it. Anything, thank you. We sat at my Goodwill kitchen table with camping mugs while the storm tried to murder my roof, and our kids bonded like siblings. "I need to call someone." Emily's voice was small. "My phone." Landlines on the wall. Corded, works without power. She stared at it like I'd pointed at a rotary phone. "I haven't used one since... I don't even remember. My mom had one till 2010. Refused to give it up. Said cell phones were for people who forgot how to commit to a conversation." That got a real reaction, almost a smile. She made 3 calls, all voicemail assistant driver, someone named Richard, ex-husband, I guessed, based on the ice in her tone. No one's answering. Storm killed the towers, and it's midnight. Normal people sleep. I need to get Jacob home. In this, I nodded at the window where rain hit like bullets. "You'll hydroplane in 30 seconds, if you had a car, which you don't." Her jaw tightened. Emily Carter hates being helpless. You're stuck till morning, or till it breaks. I can't impose, not imposing, stranded, different. She wrapped both hands around the mug, trying to absorb warmth. This morning, don't. I held up a hand. Not now. I was harsh. You were cruel. There's a difference. She flinched like I'd slapped her. But your kid's scared and wet, and it's midnight in a hurricane, so we're adults. Drink your tea. I'll set up the guest room office with a futon. Morning comes, you go back to being CEO. I go back to being invisible. You're not invisible. I actually laughed. 3 months ago, I designed the Marshall Protocol, still runs your logistics. Today, I mopped outside your office while you walked past me like I was part of the tile. So yeah, pretty invisible. Silence. Then Jacob appeared drowning in star pajamas, holding a stuffed elephant. Mom, can we stay? Please, Lily has the turtle lamp. Emily looked at her son, really looked. Something cracked in her face. We're staying, sweetheart. Yes. Both kids cheered and bolted. Emily's hands shook around her mug. He hasn't been excited about anything in 6 months. Kids bounce back. Do they? Barely a whisper. His father left us in April, moved to Seattle with his secretary. Jacob hasn't smiled since. There it was, the truth under the armor. I'm sorry. Don't be. Richard was... She stopped, shook her head. This is inappropriate. You're an employee. Right now I'm the guy with dry clothes and tea. You're the mom whose car died. Can we just be that tonight? She studied me. Those gray eyes weren't cold anymore, searching. You're not what I expected. Most people aren't, if you actually look. Another hit. She knew it. I stood. Futon's in the office. You and Jacob take it. Lily and I camp in the living room. She'll love it. We'll pretend we're explorers. You don't have to. Stop. I know I don't. I met her eyes. I'm choosing to. I left her there and wrestled the futon into submission. By the time I had it ready with real sheets, Emily had migrated to the couch where both kids had crashed in a tangle of limbs. Look at them, she whispered. Perfect. Lily's curls mixed with Jacob's straight hair, turtle nightlight painting stars across both faces. Best friends already. Kids are fast. Jacob doesn't make friends, not since his dad left. She nodded. Lily either, not since her mom died. Emily's head whipped toward me. I didn't know. God, I'm so sorry. 3 years, cancer, fast. Even now, talking about Sarah felt like swallowing broken glass. One day we're planning her 40th. 6 months later, I'm planning a funeral. David. Took the night shift so I can be there when Lily gets off the bus. Make dinner, help with homework, tuck her in, then I clean the building I used to run. Bitter laugh. Funny how life works. That's not funny. That's heartbreaking. It's survival. You do what you do for your kids. She looked at Jacob sleeping peaceful for the first time in months. Yes, you do. Thunder cracked. Lightning lit everything white. Bedtime. You take Jacob to the office. I'll bunk with Lily. I can't kick you. It's a futon in my office. You're not kicking me anywhere. I scooped up Jacob gently. He barely stirred. Come on, buddy. Emily followed. I laid Jacob down, and she tucked him in with a tenderness that shocked me, like she'd forgotten how and was just remembering. Thank you, she whispered, for all of this. Sleep, Emily. First name, no thinking. She noticed, didn't correct me. I left her there and went back. Lily had somehow claimed the entire couch. I carried her to my bed, tucked her in, like always, kissed her forehead, whispered, I love you. Then I grabbed a blanket and hit the couch. Storm raged, buckets pinged, house groaned, and somewhere in my falling apart rental, Emily Carter, the woman who'd humiliated me this morning, slept under my roof in my brother-in-law's ugly sweats, with her son wrapped in my daughter's blankets. Life's strange. I closed my eyes, but sleep didn't come. because on my coffee table, barely visible in the lightning flashes, sat my proposal, the one I'd carried home. 3 months of work, dismissed in 3 minutes, and in the office down the hall, the woman who'd destroyed it was sleeping 10 feet from where it sat. I picked it up, stared at the title page. Flexible Futures, a human-centered approach to modern work-life integration. Sarah had helped me name it, said it sounded hopeful, like something that could actually change lives. Emily had called it embarrassing. I should have thrown it away, burned it, let it die with my pride. Instead, I set it back down, right where Emily would see it in the morning when she came out for coffee. Maybe nothing would happen. Maybe everything would. But in that moment, listening to the storm, sitting in the dark with my dead wife's dream and my alive daughter sleeping down the hall, I made a choice. I wasn't going to disappear. Not anymore. Thunder cracked like God laughing, and somewhere in the dark I heard footsteps. Emily was awake. The footsteps stopped just outside the living room. David froze, proposal still in his hands, heart hammering. Lightning flashed, and there she was, Emily Carter, in those ridiculous orange sweats, hair wild, standing in his doorway like a ghost. "I heard you moving around," she said quietly. "Couldn't sleep either." He set the proposal down, face up, deliberate, let her see it. Storm's loud. "It's not the storm." She moved closer, eyes landing on the document. He watched her face change. Recognition, then something else. Shame, maybe. "Is that the embarrassing proposal?" "Yeah." He didn't hide the edge in his voice. "Took it home, don't know why. Habit, I guess. Sarah always said I was sentimental about my work." Emily picked it up, actually picked it up, started reading by the light of the camping lantern. "Don't bother," David said. "You already gave your professional opinion this morning." "I didn't read it this morning." The words hung there like a confession. "What? I didn't read it." She wouldn't look at him. "I saw custodial staff on the submission form and made assumptions. I thought—" She stopped, swallowed. "I thought it would be some naive suggestion about longer lunch breaks or better coffee in the break room." David felt his blood pressure spike. "You rejected 3 months of work without reading it." "Yes." "You humiliated me in front of 20 people without even looking at it." "Yes." Her voice cracked. "And I'm reading it now and realizing I'm an idiot." She sat down on the couch, still reading. David watched her face in the flickering light, watched her eyes widen, watched her flip pages faster. "This is brilliant," she whispered. "Don't." "No, I mean it. This algorithm for predictive scheduling based on family needs. The cost-benefit analysis, the implementation timeline." She looked up at him. "David, this could save the company millions while actually improving employee retention. The data here is—" "Stop." He stood up. "You don't get to do this." "Do what?" "Pretend you care now because you're stuck in my house in a storm. Tomorrow morning you'll go back to your corner office and I'll go back to mopping floors, and this—" He grabbed the proposal from her hands. "This will still be garbage to you." "That's not fair." "Fair." He laughed, sharp and bitter. "You want to talk about fair? I helped build that company from nothing. My code still runs half your systems. I took the janitor job because it was the only way to keep health insurance for Lily after Sarah died, and you looked at me this morning like I was dirt on your shoe." Emily flinched. "You're right. Damn right, He stopped. "What? You're right. I was cruel. I was arrogant. I walked into that boardroom determined to prove I belonged there, that I earned the CEO position instead of just inheriting it. And the easiest way to look powerful is to make someone else look small." She stood up facing him. "I'm sorry. Truly sorry. You deserved better." David wanted to stay angry. Anger was safe. Anger kept the walls up. But the way she looked at him, no armor, no ice, just raw honesty, made something crack in his chest. "Why are you really here, Emily?" "My car broke down 2 blocks. "No, why are you really here? This neighborhood—" "It's 20 minutes from the office." Opposite direction from the executive district where you probably live. What were you doing here at midnight in a storm? She looked away. I was driving. Obviously. Just driving. I do that sometimes. When Jacob's asleep and the house is too quiet, and I can't stand being alone with my thoughts. Her voice got smaller. I drive until I'm lost. Then I find my way home. Tonight I got too lost. Thunder rumbled. Softer now. Storm was moving on. Richard left me for a 26-year-old, Emily said suddenly. Marketing assistant, blonde, perky, everything I'm apparently not. He said I was cold, unfeeling, a robot in designer suits. She laughed, but it sounded like breaking glass. So I became CEO and proved him right. Easier to be ice than to feel anything. That's not an excuse for, I know, I'm not making excuses, I'm explaining. She met his eyes. You asked why I'm here. The truth, I think I was driving toward something human, and the universe dropped me on your doorstep. The universe has a sick sense of humor. Apparently. She picked up the proposal again. Can I really read this? Actually read it. David studied her, looking for the act, the manipulation. But all he saw was a woman who looked as tired as he felt. Knock yourself out. She sat back down and read. Really read. David watched her for a minute, then went to check on the kids. Both still sleeping tangled together like puppies. Lily had her arm around Jacob. His son's face was peaceful in a way Emily said it hadn't been in months. Kids forgive fast. Adults could learn from that. When he came back, Emily had tears on her face. You okay? This section about parent-child bonding hours. She pointed at a page. You calculated the average amount of time working parents lose with their children per year under current scheduling, and the developmental impact on kids who don't get consistent evening routines. Sarah was a child psychologist. She helped with that part. It's devastating, and it's true. Emily wiped her eyes. Jacob used to wait up for me every night, even when I had late meetings. His nanny said he'd fight sleep asking when mommy was coming home. Eventually, he stopped asking, just went to bed. Her voice broke. I thought that was good, that he was adjusting, but he wasn't adjusting. He was giving up on me. Emily, I missed his school play last month, forgot it entirely. Had a merger meeting. He played a tree David. He had 3 lines, and I wasn't there. She put her face in her hands. What kind of mother forgets her kid is a tree? David sat down next to her, not touching, just present. The kind who's doing her best in an impossible situation. My best isn't good enough. Join the club. I fed Lily cereal for dinner twice last week because I was too tired to cook. She asked if we were poor. She's 7. He shook his head. We're all just surviving, trying not to drown. But you're present. You tucked her in tonight with such... She searched for words. Such tenderness. Like it was the most important thing in the world. It is the most important thing in the world. Silence. Just rain now. Thunder, distant. My father told me emotion was weakness, Emily said quietly, especially for women in business. He said if I wanted to run his company, I had to be harder than any man in the room, colder, more ruthless. She looked at her hands. I believed him, became exactly what he wanted, and lost everything that mattered. It's not too late. Isn't it? Jacob barely looks at me anymore. At home, he's silent, distant. Tonight was the first time in months I've heard him laugh. She gestured toward the kids' room. With your daughter, a stranger. In 30 minutes, she did what I haven't done in half a year. Kids respond to presence, not perfection. How do you do it? Work nights, raise her alone, stay. She searched for the word. Stay human. David was quiet for a long moment. You want the truth, please. I cry in the car sometimes, after I drop her at school, just sit there in the parking lot and lose it, because I'm terrified I'm screwing this up, that she'll remember these years as the time Dad was too tired and too sad and too broken to really see her. But you're not. I am. Some days I am exactly that, but then I come home and she runs to me like I'm her whole world, and I remember why I keep going. He looked at Emily. You asked how I do it, I don't. Not well. I just keep showing up. That's all we can do. Emily was crying again, not delicate CEO tears, real messy, soul-deep sobs. I don't know how to show up, she whispered. I forgot how. Then learn again. Start tomorrow, tonight, right now. He stood up. Come here. What? Trust me. He led her down the hall to where the kids slept, opened the door quietly. The turtle nightlight painted stars across two peaceful faces. Look at him, David whispered. Really look. Emily stared at her son. Jacob's mouth was slightly open, one hand clutching the stuffed elephant, completely at peace. He's beautiful, she breathed. He's happy. Right now, in this moment, he's happy. Because you made the choice to stay, to be here instead of in some hotel calling for a car service. I didn't have a choice. My car. There's always a choice. You could have walked to a gas station, called a cab from the landline, but you stayed, and look at his face. Emily's hand went to her mouth. I can't remember the last time I watched him sleep. Then remember this moment. Tomorrow, when work is screaming and the board is demanding and everything is telling you to be the ice queen, remember his face right now. They stood there in silence, watching the kids breathe in sync. David, Emily's voice was barely audible. Yeah, I'm going to fix this, what I did this morning, your proposal. I'm going to make it right. You don't have to. I do, not because I got stranded here, not because I feel guilty, because it's the right thing to do. She looked at him, and because you're right. We're all just trying not to drown. Maybe it's time we helped each other instead of pushing each other under. Before he could respond, Lily stirred. Her eyes opened confused. Daddy! Right here, Bug. Is the storm over? Almost. Go back to sleep. Can Jacob come to my school tomorrow for show and tell? Emily and David both froze. Sweetheart, Jacob has his own school. Please, I want to show everyone my new friend. Please, please, please. Jacob stirred now, blinking awake. What's happening? Lily wants you to come to her school, Emily said softly. Really? His whole face lit up. Can I, Mom? Can I? Emily looked at David. He shrugged slightly. Your call. Emily started, then stopped. David could see the war in her face. CEO Emily would say no. Responsible Emily would say no. But the mother who'd just watched her son sleep peaceful for the first time in months. Yes, she said, if it's okay with your dad and your teacher. Both kids erupted in cheers, suddenly wide awake. Okay, David laughed. But that means back to sleep now. Big day tomorrow. Will you tell us a story first? Lily asked. Please, Lily, it's almost 2 a.m. Please, the one about the stars. Jacob looked up at Emily with those same hopeful eyes. I want to hear about stars. Emily looked helpless. I don't know any star stories. Daddy knows the best one. Tell us, Daddy. David sighed, but he was smiling. Fine, one story, then sleep. Deal. They all piled onto the futon, David and Emily sitting on the edge, kids between them wrapped in blankets. Once upon a time, David began, there was a little girl who was afraid of the dark. Like me, Lily whispered, just like you. And she asked her daddy why the dark was so scary. And you know what he said? What? Jacob was riveted. He said the dark isn't scary at all. It's just the sky's way of showing off its best stuff, because you can't see stars without darkness. The darker it gets, the brighter they shine. But what if the stars go away? Lily asked. Stars don't go away, Bug. Sometimes clouds hide them, sometimes city lights wash them out. But they're always there, always shining, even when we can't see them. He looked at Emily. We just have to remember to look up. Emily's eyes were wet again. So the little girl wasn't scared anymore, Jacob asked. Not of the dark, because she knew the stars were there. Her mom told her that everyone she loved was watching from the stars. Her grandma, her grandpa, everyone who loved her. His voice caught. So she was never really alone. Lily snuggled closer. Mommy's a star now. The brightest one. Is my daddy a star? Jacob asked quietly. The question hung there. Emily's face crumpled. No, baby, she whispered. Daddy's in Seattle, but he loves you very much. Then why did he leave? David's heart broke. He knew that question, knew it from every angle, the asking, the answering, the living with no answer. Emily looked at David, desperate. Help me. Sometimes, David said carefully, grown-ups make mistakes. Big ones. They forget what's important, but that doesn't mean they don't love you. It just means they got lost for a while. Like you got lost tonight, Mom? Jacob looked up at her. Yeah, Emily's voice cracked. Like I got lost, but I found my way here, and tomorrow I'm going to try really hard not to get lost again. Okay, Jacob yawned. I like it here. It smells like pancakes and rain. Best smell combination ever, David agreed. Now sleep, both of you. Will you stay? Lily asked. Both of you, till we fall asleep. David looked at Emily. She nodded. We'll stay. They sat there in the darkness, lit by turtle stars, watching two kids drift off holding hands. The storm outside had quieted to soft rain. The buckets had stopped pinging. Everything was still. Thank you, Emily whispered, for the story, for all of this. It's just a story. No, it's not. You gave him an answer I couldn't. You gave him hope when I had none to give. You gave him permission to go to school with Lily. That took courage. That took desperation. I have 17 meetings tomorrow, a board presentation, a merger call with Tokyo. Cancel them. She stared at him. I can't cancel. Yes, you can. You're the CEO. Cancel them. Go to second grade show and tell. Watch your son be happy. David's voice was gentle but firm. The company will survive one day without you, but Jacob won't be 7 forever. These moments, they don't come back. You really believe that? I know that. I'd give anything for one more morning with Sarah. One more pancake breakfast, one more school drop-off, one more completely ordinary moment that I took for granted. He looked at her. Don't wait for a tragedy to teach you what matters. Emily was quiet for a long time. Both kids were asleep now, breathing deep and even. I'll do it, she said finally. I'll cancel the morning. Come to show and tell. Yeah, my assistant will have a heart attack. The board will think I've lost my mind. But she looked at Jacob. Look at his face. How do I say no to that? You don't. That's the whole point. They sat in comfortable silence. Rain pattered. Turtle stars rotated slowly. David, Emily's voice was hesitant. This proposal, I meant what I said. I want to present it to the board properly, with you there. Emily, you don't have to. I want to, not as an apology, as the right business decision. This could transform how we operate, and you deserve credit, recognition, a real position, not, she gestured vaguely, not custodial. I'm not ashamed of being a janitor. I know, but you're capable of more, and I was wrong to ignore that. She turned to face him. Let me make this right, please. He wanted to say no. Pride demanded it, but then he thought about Lily, about giving her a better life, about maybe possibly not being so tired all the time. Okay, really, on one condition. Anything. You actually read the whole thing, not just tonight. Really study it, and if you still think it's viable, then we talk, but I won't let you do this out of guilt. Deal. She held out her hand. He shook it. Her hand was small in his, warm, human. They stood carefully, not waking the kids, and tiptoed out. In the living room, Emily checked the landline. Still dead. Tower's probably down. Give it till morning. I should try to sleep. But she didn't move toward the office. Or we could have coffee. I'm not sleeping anytime soon. It's 2:30 in the morning. Best time for coffee. No one to judge you. She actually smiled. Okay. He fired up the camp stove again. Found the good coffee, the stuff he saved for bad days. This qualified. They sat at the kitchen table, steam rising from mugs, rain gentle against the windows. "Can I ask you something?" Emily said. "Shoot. How did you survive it, losing your wife?" David was quiet. That question always hit like a punch. "Honestly, I didn't, not at first. First 6 months, I was a zombie, just going through motions. Lily's kindergarten teacher pulled me aside, said she was worried about both of us." He sipped his coffee. "I was so buried in grief, I couldn't see I was burying my daughter too." "What changed?" "Lily asked me if I still loved her." Emily's hand went to her heart. She was 5 years old, asked if I stopped loving her because Mommy died, because I was always sad, always distant. His voice roughened. That woke me up, realized I had a choice. I could drown in grief or I could swim for her, so I started swimming. That's incredibly brave. That's survival. There's a difference. I don't think there is. They drank coffee in silence, comfortable silence, the kind you can only share with someone who's seen you broken. "My father died last year," Emily said suddenly. "Heart attack at his desk. They found him next to a spreadsheet about quarterly earnings." "I'm sorry." "Don't be. We weren't close. He was disappointed in me until the day he made me CEO. Then suddenly I was exactly what he wanted. Too late to matter." She traced the rim of her mug. "Sometimes I wonder if I'm doing all this for him, trying to prove something to a ghost." "Are you?" She thought about it. "Maybe, probably. God, that's pathetic." "It's human. We all want our parents' approval, even when they don't deserve it." "Did Sarah approve of who you were?" David smiled, real and warm. "Sarah thought I was the best thing since sliced bread, even when I left dirty socks on the floor and forgot anniversaries and got too obsessed with work. She saw me, the real me, and loved that person." His smile faded. "I didn't realize how rare that was until she was gone. Richard never saw me, just what I could do for him. The connections I had, the money. When I stopped being useful, he found someone who worshipped him." Emily laughed bitterly. "Joke's on him. She's already cheating with someone in IT." "How do you know?" "I have excellent investigators, and I'm petty enough to check." David laughed. "Couldn't help it. That's the most honest thing you've said all night." "I'm a terrible person. You're a human person. There's a difference." She smiled, actually smiled. The Ice Queen melted just a little more. Thunder rumbled. Distant now, storm was definitely passing. "It's almost over," Emily said. "Yeah, then reality comes back." "It does." She looked at him across the table. "I don't want to go back to being the person I was yesterday." "So don't." "It's not that simple." "It's exactly that simple. You make a choice every day, every moment. Be the Ice Queen or be human. No one's forcing you. The board expects, screw the board. What do you expect from yourself?" The question hung there. Emily stood abruptly, paced. "You make it sound so easy." "It's not easy, it's simple. Different things. I don't know how to be both. CEO and mother, strong and soft, all the things I'm supposed to be." "Who says you're supposed to be anything? Just be Emily. Figure out who that is first. Everything else follows." She stopped pacing, looked at him. "How are you so wise at—" She trailed off. "At mopping floors." "I didn't mean—" "I know." He stood, brought his mug to the sink. "Tragedy ages you fast, or it breaks you. I got lucky. Had Lily to live for. Some people don't get that." Emily joined him at the sink. They stood side by side, looking out at the rain. "I'm glad you answered the door tonight," she said quietly. "I almost didn't. But you did." "Yeah." He looked at her. "I did." Outside, the sky was starting to lighten, just barely. The gray before dawn, storm clouds breaking up. The rain slowing to mist. "Sun's coming soon," Emily observed. "Always does, even after the worst storms." She turned to face him fully. David, I know I don't deserve to ask this, but… Her phone rang. Both of them jumped, the landline working again. Emily grabbed it. Hello. Yes, this is she? No, we're fine. Car broke down. We're at… She looked at David questioningly. 2247 Oak Street. 2247 Oak Street. Yes, thank you. 1 hour, perfect. She hung up. My driver. Cell towers are back up. He'll be here at 7. Reality. Crashing back in. I should get dressed, Emily said. Back into my wet clothes. They're probably still soaked. Keep the sweats. Return them whenever. I can't take your… Emily, keep the ugly sweats. Not negotiable. She smiled. Small, but genuine. Thank you. She went to wake Jacob. David checked on Lily, still asleep, sprawled across his bed like a starfish. He let her sleep. 30 minutes later, Emily and Jacob stood in Emma's entryway. Jacob was back in Lily's star pajamas. Emily drew the line at wet clothes for him too. The orange sweats looked even more ridiculous in the growing dawn light. So, Emily said, show and tell is at 10. You're really coming. I'm really coming. I'll pick Jacob up at 9. We'll swing by and get Lily. She'll lose her mind. Good. Kids should lose their minds sometimes. Over happy things. Jacob hugged David out of nowhere. Thank you for the story and the pancakes tomorrow. Anytime, buddy. A car pulled up, sleek, black, very CEO. Emily hesitated at the door. David, I meant everything I said about the proposal, about changing. I'm going to prove it. Don't prove it to me. Prove it to him. David nodded at Jacob. I will. She started to leave. Stopped. Turned back. For what it's worth, Sarah was lucky to have someone who loved her that much. Before he could respond, she was gone. Car pulling away, taillights fading into the mist. David stood in his doorway watching the sun break through the clouds, holding a proposal that might change everything or nothing at all. Behind him, Lily called out, Daddy, is it pancake time? He smiled. Yeah, Bug, it's pancake time. Whatever happened next, at least there would be pancakes. And sometimes that's enough. The Mickey Mouse pancakes were lopsided, but Lily didn't care. She sat at the kitchen table, swinging her legs. Syrup everywhere, talking a mile a minute about Jacob. He's never seen Frozen Daddy. Can you believe it? I told him Elsa is basically a queen who shoots ice from her hands. And he said that sounds scary, but I said, no, it's beautiful, and breathe, Bug. And he's coming to show and tell, and everyone's going to be so jealous because I have a new friend and his mom is really pretty, even in ugly orange pants. David nearly choked on his coffee. What? She is like a princess who got rained on. Is she really your boss? Yeah, the mean one you told Aunt Marie about. I didn't say she was mean. You said she made you feel invisible. Kids, they remembered everything. Well, people can surprise you sometimes. Lily studied him with those two old eyes. Do you like her now? I don't know her well enough to like or not like her. But she's coming to my school. That means she's nice now, right? It means she loves her son, just like I love you. Do you think Jacob's dad left because he didn't love him enough? The question hit David like a truck. He set down his coffee cup carefully. Come here, Bug. Lily climbed into his lap, sticky fingers and all. Listen to me. When grown-ups leave, it's never because of the kids. Never. Jacob's dad left because he had problems inside himself that had nothing to do with Jacob. Just like when Mommy died, it wasn't because she wanted to leave you. Sometimes bad things happen that aren't anyone's fault. But it makes Jacob sad. I know. I don't want him to be sad. He's my friend now. Then you be his friend. That's all you can do. Be there. Be kind. That matters more than you know. She hugged him tight. Okay, Daddy. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer. Hello. Mr. Marshall. This is Catherine Yang, Emily Carter's executive assistant. Ms. Carter asked me to confirm pickup at 9 a.m. for show and tell at Oakwood Elementary. David blinked. Emily wasn't kidding. Yeah, 9 works. Excellent. She's also requested you come to the office this afternoon, 2 p.m., her private conference room. I work nights. She's aware. She said to tell you it's about the proposal. Direct quote, tell him I read the whole thing twice. He was right. I was an idiot. End quote. David couldn't help but smile. She actually said that. Word for word, I nearly fell off my chair. Ms. Carter doesn't typically admit to errors. Catherine's voice dropped to a whisper. Between you and me, Mr. Marshall, whatever happened last night, thank you. She came in this morning and canceled 6 meetings. Said family comes first. I've worked for her 3 years. She's never canceled anything. She's full of surprises. Apparently. See you at 2. I'll be there. He hung up. Lily was watching him out. Was that Jacob's mom, her assistant? Are you going to see her today? Looks like it. Good. You should be friends too. You both looked sad last night. Now you look less sad. Out of the mouths of babes. They finished breakfast and got ready for school. Lily changed outfits 4 times. Jacob has to see me looking nice, Daddy, and settled on her favorite purple dress with the sparkly butterflies. David braided her hair, something he'd learned from YouTube videos, at 2 a.m. during those first terrible months after Sarah died. At 8:45, they waited on the porch. Lily was vibrating with excitement. What if he forgot? What if his mom forgot? What if... A black car turned onto their street. There, Lily shrieked. The car pulled up. The driver opened the back door and Jacob tumbled out wearing clean clothes now, but still clutching that stuffed elephant. Lily, Jacob. They collided in a hug like they'd been separated for years instead of hours. Emily emerged from the car more slowly. She'd changed into a navy suit, hair back in that severe bun makeup, perfect. CEO armor back in place. But when she saw David, something in her eyes softened. Good morning. Morning, nice sweats last night. She actually laughed. I looked ridiculous. You looked human. The words hung between them. The driver pretended not to listen. The kids were already running toward the house, Lily showing Jacob her bike. Catherine called you, Emily asked. Yeah, 2 p.m. I meant what I said. I read it twice. Stayed up till 5. It's brilliant, David. Actually brilliant. She lowered her voice. I have the board meeting Wednesday. I want to present it with you as co-developers. Emily, I know you're proud. I get it. But this isn't charity. This is good business, and you deserve recognition. She looked at him directly. Let me do this, please. The kids ran back over, breathless. Daddy, can Jacob see my room real quick? Please, we have 15 minutes. David looked at Emily. She nodded. 5 minutes. Then we have to go. They thundered inside. Emily and David stood on the porch in the morning sun. You really canceled 6 meetings, David asked. 7, actually, and a conference call with London. My assistant thinks I've had a breakdown. Have you? Maybe, or maybe I finally woke up. She smiled, tentative. Jacob hasn't stopped talking about last night, about the stars, about Lily, about you. He's a good kid. He said you're the nicest grown-up he's ever met besides his grandmother. Well, I'm a janitor. We're known for our warmth. Stop that. What? Diminishing yourself. You're not just a janitor. You're an engineer, a father, a genuinely good human being. Her voice went quiet. You're the kind of person I forgot existed. Before David could respond, the kids burst back out. We have to go, Lily announced. Show and tell starts at 10, and I need to explain everything about Jacob first. They loaded into David's beat-up Honda. Emily's driver followed in the sleek town car. The contrast was almost funny. Oakwood Elementary was chaos, as always. Kids everywhere, parents dropping off, teachers directing traffic. David parked and they all walked toward the entrance together. Other parents stared. David in his work jeans and flannel, Emily in her power suit, 2 kids holding hands between them. Mr. Marshall, Lily's teacher. Ms. Rodriguez waved from the entrance. She saw Emily and her smile flickered with confusion. And you must be Jacob's mother. Lily hasn't stopped talking about her new friend. Emily Carter. She shook hands. Thank you for accommodating us on short notice. Of course, any friend of Lily's is welcome. David, you're staying too. If that's okay, please do. Lily would be devastated if you missed this. They followed Ms. Rodriguez to the classroom. 23 second graders watched them enter with wide eyes. Class, this is Lily's special guest, Jacob. He's going to join us for show and tell today. Hi, Jacob, the class chorused. Jacob pressed closer to Emily. She put her hand on his shoulder. It's okay, baby, she whispered. Lily's here. Lily grabbed Jacob's hand. Come on, you can sit by me. They settled at Lily's desk, David and Emily standing awkwardly in the back. This is surreal, Emily murmured. Welcome to second grade. Ms. Rodriguez started the lesson, math, then reading. Jacob participated hesitantly at first, then more confidently as Lily encouraged him. Emily watched her son with an expression David recognized, wonder mixed with heartbreak, all the moments she'd missed. At 10, show and tell started. Kids brought up various treasures, a rock collection, a soccer trophy, someone's pet hermit crab in a container. Then it was Lily's turn. This is my best friend Jacob, she announced proudly. He came all the way from across town, and his mom is a CEO, which means she runs a whole company. And last night they got stuck at my house in the storm, and we stayed up late, and Daddy told us about stars and Lily. Ms. Rodriguez gently interrupted. Remember, we need to let Jacob talk too. Oh, right. Lily looked at Jacob encouragingly. Tell them about the stars. Jacob stood slowly, looked at all the faces watching him, started to shrink back. Then Emily spoke from the back of the room. You can do it, sweetheart, just like you told me this morning. David saw every kid turn to look at Emily, saw them recognize power, confidence, but also in that moment just a mom encouraging her son. Jacob took a breath. Last night there was a big storm. Our car broke and we went to Lily's house, and her daddy told us that stars are always there, even when we can't see them, even in the dark, and that people we love become stars so we're never alone. The classroom was dead silent. My daddy left, Jacob continued, voice small but steady. But Lily's daddy said that doesn't mean he doesn't love me. It means he got lost. And maybe someday he'll find his way back. But even if he doesn't, I have my mom, and now I have Lily, so I'm not alone. Emily's hand went to her mouth, tears streaming down her face, not caring that 23 kids and their teacher were watching. David felt his own eyes sting. Lily hugged Jacob. You'll never be alone, I promise. The class erupted in applause, kids asking questions, wanting to be Jacob's friend too, Ms. Rodriguez wiping her own eyes. Emily moved toward the front, knelt down to Jacob's level. I'm so proud of you, she whispered. I was scared, Mom. But you did it anyway. That's what brave is. She hugged him right there in front of everyone. CEO armor completely gone, just a mother and her son. David watched from the back, throat tight. This was the moment Emily's life changed. He could see it happening in real time. After show and tell, they said their goodbyes. Lily made Jacob promise to come over again soon. The other kids surrounded him, asking about the storm, about the stars, about everything. Outside, Emily was quiet. They walked to the parking lot together. Thank you, she finally said. I didn't do anything. You did everything. You showed me what I'd been missing, what matters. She looked at him. I have to go to the office, put out fires, deal with the chaos I created by canceling everything. But David, 2 p.m., please be there. This proposal deserves to happen, and I'm going to make sure it does. Why? Because last night you asked me who I expected to be, and I realized I expect to be better than I've been. This is me being better. Her driver pulled up. Emily started to leave, then turned back. What you said to Jacob last night about people getting lost, did you mean it? Yeah. Do you think everyone can find their way back? I think everyone deserves the chance to try. She nodded slowly. I'm going to try. Really try. Not just with work, with Jacob, with... She gestured vaguely. Everything. Good. She got in the car, drove away. David stood there watching, feeling like the earth had tilted slightly on its axis. His phone rang. Aunt Marie. Tell me everything, she demanded without preamble. Why is Lily's teacher texting me saying you brought a gorgeous CEO to show and tell? It's complicated. I have time. Spill. David drove home and told her the whole story. The storm, Emily at his door, the night, the proposal, all of it. Marie was silent for a long moment. David, baby, I love you. So I'm going to say this with love. Don't get your hopes up. What? Rich people don't change. They might feel guilty for a minute, might play at being normal, but they always go back to their world, and you'll still be the janitor. This isn't about, isn't it? You like her, I can hear it in your voice. I barely know her. You know her enough to hope. And hope's dangerous when the power dynamic is that unequal. She's not like that. They're all like that, honey. They can't help it. It's their nature. Marie sighed. Just protect yourself and Lily. That's all I'm saying. After they hung up, David sat in his car in the driveway, Marie's words echoing. Was he hoping, was he that stupid Emily Carter was a CEO, a Harvard MBA? She lived in a world of power lunches and board meetings and decisions that affected thousands of lives. He mopped floors, lived paycheck to paycheck, wore the same 5 flannel shirts in rotation because new clothes weren't in the budget. What was he thinking? But then he remembered her face watching Jacob at show and tell, the raw emotion, the complete absence of pretense. That was real. Wasn't it at 1:30 he changed into his one decent shirt, khakis that were only slightly wrinkled, tried to tame his hair, looked in the mirror and saw a man trying too hard. He almost didn't go, but he'd promised, and David Marshall kept his promises. Carter Industries looked different in daylight. Massive glass tower, people in suits rushing everywhere. David felt underdressed immediately. The receptionist looked at him like he'd wandered in by mistake. Can I help you? David Marshall. I have a 2 p.m. with Ms. Carter. She checked her computer. Her eyebrows shot up. Oh, Mr. Marshall. Yes, she said to send you straight up, 30th floor. Someone will meet you at the elevator. The elevator ride felt like ascending to another planet. Each floor more polished, more expensive, more everything he wasn't. The doors opened to the executive level. Catherine Yang stood there, professional smile in place. Mr. Marshall, this way. She led him through a maze of glass-walled offices. Everywhere, people worked at standing desks with multiple monitors, the hum of quiet productivity, everything chrome and white and intimidating. She's in the private conference room, Catherine said. Fair warning, she's been in there since 9 preparing. I've never seen her this focused. Is that good or bad? With Ms. Carter, usually both. She opened a door. Emily stood at a massive table covered in papers, screens, charts. Her suit jacket was off, hair coming loose from the bun. She looked up when they entered. David, thank God. She waved Catherine away. Close the door. Catherine left. The door clicked shut. Suddenly it was just the two of them in this glass box 30 floors above the city. You came, Emily said. Said I would. I know, but I thought maybe you'd reconsider, decide I was crazy, that this was all some guilt-driven impulse. She pushed hair out of her face. Was it an impulse this morning at show and tell watching Jacob? I thought maybe I'd imagined last night, made it bigger in my head, but then I came here and reread your proposal and... She gestured at the chaos on the table. It's not an impulse, it's the best idea we've had in 5 years. David moved closer, looked at what she'd done. His proposal was dissected, analyzed, expanded. She'd run projections, built models, created implementation timelines. You did all this today. I told you I stayed up till 5 reading, got here at 7, been working since. She met his eyes. I want to present Wednesday, full board, but I need you there, not as the janitor, as the co-developer, equal credit. The board will do what I tell them. I'm the CEO. She softened slightly. But I need you to say yes first, because this only works if we're partners, equal partners. Emily, I appreciate this, but don't you dare say you're not qualified. You designed the Marshall Protocol. You built the foundation this company runs on, and you've spent 3 years watching how real people interact with our systems. You see things I can't from my tower. She stepped closer. I need your perspective, your expertise, She searched for words. Your humanity. This company forgot about human beings somewhere along the way. You can help us remember. And after Wednesday, after the board meeting, what then? Then you come work up here, director of operations, direct report to me, salary commensurate with experience, benefits, actual daylight hours, so you can be with Lily. David's head spun. You're offering me a job. I'm offering you your life back. Just like that. Nothing's just like that. But yes, if you want it. Her voice went quiet. Do you want it? He looked at her, really looked. Saw the hope in her eyes, the fear of rejection. She was as vulnerable in this moment as he was. What did Jacob say this morning? David asked. When you told him you were canceling meetings? Emily smiled. He said, does this mean you love me more than work? And I said, I've always loved you more than work. I just forgot to show it. What did he say? He said, show me now, so I am. This. She gestured at the proposal. This is me showing him, and showing everyone who works here that family matters, that life outside these walls matters, that we can be successful and human at the same time. You really believe that? I'm choosing to believe that. There's a difference. David heard his own words from last night echoed back, smiled despite himself. Okay, you'll do the presentation. Okay, I'll be your partner, equal partners. The relief on her face was almost comical. Really, you're not just saying that because I'm your boss. Right now, you're not my boss. You're the woman who stood in my classroom crying while her kid talked about stars. He held out his hand. Partners. She shook it. Her grip was firm, strong. Partners. They stood there, hands clasped, and David felt the future shift, felt possibilities opening that had been closed for 3 years. Emily broke the handshake first. We have 2 days to prepare. I'll need you to walk me through the technical aspects, the algorithm, the predictive modeling. I can do that. And I need you to tell me stories. What stories? Like the stars last night. When we present to the board, they're not going to care about algorithms. They care about money, yes, but also legacy, impact. She sat down at the table. So we need stories. Real stories about how this will change lives. Can you do that? David thought about Lily waiting for him after school, about missing bedtime because of night shifts, about all the parents he knew who were drowning trying to balance work and family. Yeah, I can do that. They worked for 3 hours straight. Emily asked questions. David answered. They built the presentation together piece by piece. She was sharp, focused, brilliant. He'd forgotten what it felt like to work with someone on his level. No, that was wrong. To work with someone who saw him as an equal. Around 5, Catherine knocked. Ms. Carter, you have Jacob's pickup in 15 minutes. Emily looked at the clock, startled. Already? Time flies when you're revolutionizing company policy, David said. She stood gathering her things. We'll continue tomorrow. Can you come at 10? I'll be here. And David, she paused at the door. Thank you for taking a chance on this, on me. You're taking a bigger chance on me. No, you've already proven yourself. I'm just finally smart enough to notice. She left. David stood in the conference room surrounded by the evidence of their work. 2 days ago, he was invisible. Now he was partners with the CEO. Life's strange. His phone buzzed. Marie again. How'd it go? She offered me a job, director of operations. Silence. Then, David, baby, I love you, but please tell me you're not falling for this woman. I'm not, because this has disaster written all over it. Rich boss, poor employee, it's a movie, a bad one. It's not like that. Then what's it like? David looked at the proposal spread across the table, at the future they'd just designed together. It's like maybe both of us got a second chance, and we're smart enough not to waste it. Marie sighed. I hope you're right. I really do. Just be careful. Okay, guard your heart. You've been broken enough. After he hung up, David stood at the window looking out at the city, 30 floors up. The world looked different from here, smaller, more manageable, or maybe he just felt bigger. His phone buzzed one more time. Unknown number. Hello, Mr. Marshall. This is Jacob. I stole Mom's phone. David couldn't help but smile. Hey, buddy, did you have fun at show and tell? The best. Everyone wanted to be my friend. And I told them about the stars, and Lily held my hand the whole time, and his voice dropped to a whisper. Mr. Marshall is my mom, different now. The question hit hard. What do you mean? She picked me up on time. We got ice cream. She asked about my day and actually listened. She's not on her phone. Wonder in his voice. Is she gonna stay different? David's throat tightened. I think she's trying really hard to stay different. But you know what helps? What? You keep being honest with her. Like you were this morning. Keep telling her what you need. She wants to hear it. Okay. Okay, oh, she's coming back. Bye, Mr. Marshall. The line went dead. David stood there holding his phone, hoping like hell he was right. That Emily really was changing. That this wasn't just guilt or impulse or some temporary awakening that would fade when reality set in, because that kid deserved a mom who showed up. And David was starting to realize he might deserve a second chance too, whether he was ready for it or not. Wednesday morning arrived like Judgment Day. David stood in front of his closet at 6 a.m., staring at shirts he couldn't afford to replace. The board meeting was at 10. He'd practiced the presentation 17 times. Emily had drilled him on potential questions until he could answer them in his sleep. But none of that preparation included what to wear when you're about to walk into a room full of millionaires and tell them how to run their company. His phone rang. Emily, you're awake, she said without preamble. Couldn't sleep? Me either. I've been up since 4. David, I need to tell you something before we go in there. His stomach dropped. You're backing out. What? No, God, no. The opposite. She took a breath. Parker Thompson is going to be in that room. Who's Parker Thompson? VP of Operations. He's been angling for CEO since my father retired. Thinks I got the job because of my last name, which isn't entirely wrong. He's going to come at us hard. Define hard. He'll attack the proposal, attack you, attack me for bringing in someone from custodial. He plays dirty and he plays to win. So why tell me now? Why not yesterday? Because yesterday I wanted you confident. Today I need you prepared. Parker's going to try to make you feel small, unqualified, like you don't belong in that room. Her voice went fierce. Don't let him. You belong there more than he does. Your work speaks for itself. Emily, I'm serious. He's a bully in an expensive suit, and the board tolerates him because he makes them money. But this proposal, it's bigger than his ego. Remember that. After they hung up, David finished getting dressed. The blue shirt Sarah had bought him for their last anniversary, his one good tie, khakis pressed to within an inch of their life. He looked in the mirror and saw a man trying to be something he wasn't, or maybe trying to be something he used to be. Lily appeared in the doorway, all ready dressed for school. You look fancy, Daddy. Big meeting today. The one with Jacob's mom. Yeah, she studied him seriously. Are you scared? No point lying to her. A little. Want to know what I do when I'm scared? What's that bug? I pretend Mommy's watching, and I think about what she'd say. She always knew what to say. David's throat closed up. He knelt down, pulled Lily into a hug. What do you think she'd say now? Lily pulled back thoughtful. she'd say you're the smartest person she ever met, and that anyone who doesn't see that is dumb. He laughed, despite the tears. Yeah, that sounds like her. So go show them, Daddy. Show them you're smart. He dropped Lily at school and drove to Carter Industries with her words echoing in his head. The parking garage felt different now. He wasn't sneaking in through the service entrance at midnight. He was walking through the front doors at 9 a.m. with a visitor badge that said, Executive Presenter. Catherine met him in the lobby. Mr. Marshall, Ms. Carter is already in the boardroom. She asked me to bring you up early. For moral support, I think. Is she nervous? I've never seen her nervous. Until today. Catherine lowered her voice as they entered the elevator. Fair warning, Parker Thompson arrived 30 minutes ago. He's been circling like a shark. Great. Don't let him intimidate you. He's all bark. Well, mostly bark, some bite. But Ms. Carter can handle him. The elevator opened to the executive floor. Catherine led him down a different corridor, this one ending in massive wooden doors. The boardroom. Good luck, Mr. Marshall. For what it's worth, I read your proposal. It's brilliant. She opened the doors and left him there. The boardroom was designed to intimidate. 30-foot ceilings, windows overlooking the entire city, a table that could seat 20 currently occupied by 12 people in suits that cost more than David's car. Emily stood at the head of the table, presentation ready on multiple screens. She saw David and something in her face relaxed. Mr. Marshall, perfect timing. Everyone, this is David Marshall, co-developer of the proposal we're reviewing today. Polite nods, measured smiles, and at the far end of the table, a man in his 50s with silver hair and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Parker Thompson. Marshall, he said, voice dripping false friendliness. Emily mentioned you work in facilities management. The room went quiet. I'm a janitor, David said clearly. Night shift. Have been for 3 years. Fascinating. Parker's smile widened. And now you're here to tell us how to run operations. That's quite a leap. Parker, Emily's voice was ice. David was lead engineer before the acquisition. He designed the Marshall Protocol that still handles 70% of our logistics. His expertise is, I'm sure his expertise was valuable, past tense. Parker leaned back. But let's be honest, we're about to make billion-dollar decisions based on a proposal from someone who currently cleans toilets. No offense. Plenty taken, David said. A woman next to Parker, mid-60s, with sharp eyes, spoke up. I'd like to hear the proposal before dismissing it. Margaret Chen, Chief Financial Officer. Mr. Marshall, please proceed. Emily caught David's eye. You've got this. He stepped forward, clicked to the first slide. 3 years ago, my wife died. Cancer, fast and brutal. I was lead engineer here, working 60-hour weeks, traveling constantly. When she got sick, I realized I'd missed everything. Soccer games, school plays, dinners, bedtimes. I'd traded my family for career advancement, and by the time I understood the cost, she was gone. The room was dead silent. I took the night shift janitor position because it's the only job in this building that lets me be there when my daughter gets home from school, make her dinner, help with homework, tuck her in, be present for the childhood I have left with her. He looked at each board member. I'm not unique. 78% of this company's employees have children. 63% are single parents or primary caregivers. And under our current system, they're all making the same impossible choice I made. Career or family, money or presence, survival or actually living. Margaret Chen was leaning forward, others too. This proposal isn't about being nice, it's about being smart. Our turnover rate is 31% annually. Training costs per employee average $47,000. We're hemorrhaging money replacing people who burn out, trying to do the impossible. But if we implement flexible scheduling based on family needs, predictive algorithms that optimize coverage while respecting personal time and performance metrics that value output over hours logged. He clicked through slides showing projections. We reduced turnover by 18% in year 1, 26% year 2. That's 17 million in savings, plus increased productivity from employees who aren't exhausted, plus better customer service from people who aren't counting minutes until they can leave, plus the kind of loyalty you can't buy. Pretty numbers, Parker interrupted, but you're assuming people won't abuse the system. Give employees flexibility and they'll take advantage. It's human nature. Is it? David turned to face him directly. Or is that what we tell ourselves to justify treating people like machines instead of human beings? Parker's jaw tightened. I'm a realist. You're a cynic. There's a difference. David clicked to another slide. I spent 3 years mopping floors in this building. You know what I learned? People don't want to take advantage. They want to do good work and go home to their families. The single mom in accounting who cries in the bathroom because she missed her kid's birthday, she's not trying to scam the system. She's drowning. The guy in IT who sleeps at his desk because his commute is 90 minutes each way and his hours are rigid. He's not lazy. He's trapped. We created this system. We can fix it. And if we can't, Parker pressed, if this idealistic fantasy crashes and burns, then we adjust. This isn't set in stone. It's a living system that adapts based on data. We monitor, we modify, we learn. David looked at Emily, but doing nothing isn't an option anymore. Not if we want to keep talented people. Not if we want to be the kind of company people are proud to work for. Margaret Chen spoke. The financial projections are sound. Conservative even. Mr. Marshall, you mentioned predictive algorithms. Can you elaborate on the technical implementation? For the next hour, David walked them through every detail. Emily jumped in with market analysis, competitive advantages, risk mitigation. They worked together seamlessly, anticipating each other's points, building on each other's strengths. Parker kept trying to poke holes. Emily shut him down every time. Finally, Margaret called for a break. The board filed out for coffee. Emily and David stood alone in the massive room. You're killing it, she whispered. Thompson hates me. Thompson hates everyone. You're doing great, truly. Parker walked back in early, alone, closed the door. Cute presentation, he said. Very emotional, but let's talk reality. Emily, you're pushing this because you feel guilty about being an absent mother, and you... He looked at David. You're pushing this because you want a better job. This isn't about the company. It's about personal agendas. You're right, Emily said calmly. It is personal, because business is personal. Every decision we make affects real people with real lives. And yes, I'm pushing this because I realized I was becoming the kind of leader who valued quarterly reports over human dignity. If that's a personal agenda, I'm fine with it. The board won't approve this, Parker said. You're too new, too untested. They'll see this as weakness. Then they'll vote it down and we'll know where we stand. You'll lose credibility, probably your position. Maybe, but I'd rather lose my position trying to do the right thing than keep it by staying silent. Emily stepped closer to Parker. What are you really afraid of? That this will work? That treating people well is actually good business? Or that it exposes how wrong you've been for the last decade? Parker's face went red. You're making a mistake. I'm making a choice. You should try it sometime, he stormed out. David let out a breath. That was necessary. Parker's been undermining me since day one. He needed to see I won't back down. You know, he's going to sabotage this. Let him try. Her phone buzzed. She checked it and smiled. Jacob just texted. He made a new friend at school, a girl named Emma who also likes elephants. That's great. He's never texted me from school before. Usually the nanny handles everything. She looked up at David. Things are changing. At work, at home. It's terrifying and exhilarating, and I can't tell if I'm doing the right thing or destroying everything. Welcome to parenthood. That feeling never goes away. How do you stand it? You just do. One day at a time, one choice at a time. The board returned. Margaret called the meeting back to order. We've deliberated briefly, she said, and we'd like to see a pilot program. 3 departments, 6 months, full data tracking and monthly reviews. If the metrics support the projections, we expand company-wide. David felt his heart stop. They said yes. Emily's face remained calm, but her hand was shaking. Thank you. We'll have implementation plans by Monday. One condition, Margaret continued. Mr. Marshall, you'll need to transition from custodial to operations immediately. We can't have a director-level employee mopping floors. Optics matter. Understood. And Parker, Margaret looked at Thompson. You'll oversee the pilot. Work with Emily and David to ensure proper implementation. Parker's smile was razor sharp. Of course, happy to help. Emily tensed. David knew what she was thinking. Parker in oversight position meant sabotage potential, but they couldn't object without looking difficult. Thank you, Parker, Emily said smoothly. We appreciate your expertise. The meeting adjourned. Board members filed out, some congratulating David, others neutral. Parker left without a word. When the room was empty, Emily sat down hard. We did it. You did it. I just showed up. You were perfect. The personal story, the data, the way you handled Parker. She looked up at him. David, you just changed this company. Do you understand that? I understand we have 6 months to prove it works, or we're both fired. Details. She stood gathering her materials. Come on, we need to celebrate. Lunch, my treat. I should get back to Lily. It's noon. School doesn't end till 3. Come on, you earned this. They went to a small Italian place 3 blocks from the office, the kind of place with checkered tablecloths and wine bottles as decoration. Emily ordered them both pasta and wine without asking. I don't usually drink at lunch. Today's special, indulge. The wine came. They toasted. To pilot programs and second chances, Emily said. To not getting fired immediately. She laughed. Actually laughed. The sound was becoming familiar. Nice. Can I ask you something? David said after their food arrived. Anything. Why are you really doing this? And don't say it's just good business. Thompson was right about one thing. This is personal for you. Emily was quiet for a long moment, twirling pasta on her fork. My father died at his desk, literally. Heart attack during a conference call about market shares. They found him slumped over his keyboard, still wearing his headset. She set down her fork. When I cleaned out his office, you know what I found? 20 years of birthday cards from me, unopened, still in their envelopes. He'd kept them but never read them. Emily, I'm terrified of becoming that. Of Jacob going through my office someday and finding evidence that work mattered more than he did. I'm terrified I'm already that person and just starting to realize it. She met his eyes. That night in the storm, watching you with Lily, seeing how she looked at you like you hung the moon. I wanted that. I want Jacob to look at me like that. And this proposal, this change, it's not just about the company. It's about proving to myself I can be both. CEO and mother. Successful and present, or at least die trying. You're not going to die. You don't know that. My father was 56, I'm 34. If I follow his path, I have 22 years. That's it. Jacob will be 28. Will he even talk to me by then? Will he bring his kids to visit the grandmother who worked through every holiday and missed every milestone? That's not going to happen. How can you be sure? Because you're here, right now, having lunch instead of eating at your desk. Because you showed up to show and tell. Because you're asking these questions instead of ignoring them. David reached across the table, covered her hand with his. You're not your father, Emily. You're choosing differently. She stared at their hands, didn't pull away. What if I fail? What if I can't do both? What if I have to choose? Then you choose what matters. And you live with it, but you don't know you'll have to choose until you try. Is that what you did after Sarah died? I chose Lily every time, every decision. It cost me my career, my savings, my pride. But I'd do it again, because at the end of the day, she's what matters. The rest is just noise. Emily's phone buzzed. She ignored it. Don't you need to check that? It can wait. This is more important. They finished lunch talking about everything except work. Favorite books, worst movies, childhood dreams. David learned Emily wanted to be a veterinarian until her father convinced her business was the only respectable path. Emily learned David played guitar in college and still had it gathering dust in his closet. "You should play again," she said. "Haven't touched it in years." "Why not? No time, no energy, no point." "Those are excuses, not reasons," says the woman who probably hasn't taken a vacation in 5 years. "Touché." She checked her watch. "We should get back. I have 3 meetings this afternoon." "Cancel them." She stared at him. "What? Cancel them. Go pick up Jacob early. Take him to the park, or the zoo, or just home to watch cartoons. Prove to yourself you can." "David, I can't just—" "Yes, you can. You're the CEO. You can do whatever you want. That's the whole point." He stood, dropped cash on the table. "You wanted to change. Start now, not Monday, not next month, right now." She sat there, conflict written all over her face. "What if there's an emergency? Then they'll call, and you'll handle it. But there won't be. Most of what we think is urgent is just urgent to someone else's agenda." Emily pulled out her phone, stared at it, then dialed. "Catherine, clear my afternoon. Yes, all of it. Reschedule for next week. No, I'm fine. Yes, I'm sure. Thank you." She hung up, looking slightly panicked. "I just canceled 4 meetings. How does it feel?" "Terrifying. Also, kind of amazing." She stood. "Okay, I'm doing this. I'm picking up Jacob. We're going to the park or the zoo or wherever he wants." "Good." They walked back to the office together. In the lobby, Emily turned to him, said, "Thank you for pushing me. I needed that." "Any time." "David," she hesitated, "would you and Lily want to have dinner with us this weekend? Nothing fancy. Just the 4 of us. Jacob keeps asking when he can see Lily again." Warning bells went off in David's head. Marie's voice. "Don't get your hopes up. This never ends well." But Lily's voice was louder. "Be brave, Daddy." "Yeah, that sounds great." Emily's smile could have lit the city. "Saturday, 6 o'clock, I'll cook, or attempt to cook. Fair warning, I'm terrible. We'll bring backup pizza." "Deal." She left to pick up Jacob. David stood in the lobby of Carter Industries' employee badge, in his pocket dinner plans with his CEO this weekend, and a pilot program that could either save his career or destroy it. His phone rang. "Marie, tell me you didn't agree to dinner with her." "How did you?" "Because I know you, and I know that tone." "David, honey, please think about this. You're setting yourself up for heartbreak. Maybe, or maybe I'm setting myself up for something good." "With your men? Your rich, powerful, complicated boss who's using you to feel better about her parenting failures." "That's not fair. Life's not fair. That's my point. She's going to use you until she doesn't need you anymore. Then you're back to mopping floors and Lily's asking why her friend Jacob doesn't come over anymore. You don't know that. I know rich people. They don't change. They play at it. Then they go back to their real lives and we go back to ours." After they hung up, David sat in his car in the parking garage, hands on the wheel, doubt creeping in. Was Marie right? Was he being stupid, naive, setting himself and Lily up for devastation? His phone buzzed. Text from Emily. "Jacob's thrilled about Saturday. He's already planning what to show Lily. Thank you for saying yes. And thank you for today, for everything. You changed my life. I hope you know that." David stared at the message. Maybe Marie was right. Maybe this would end badly. But Sarah used to say life was too short for maybe. You either took the chance or you spent forever wondering what if. He texted back, "Looking forward to it. Tell Jacob Lily's already making plans too." Then he drove to pick up his daughter, hoping he wasn't making the biggest mistake of his life, but willing to risk it anyway, because some chances were worth taking, even when they scared you to death. Saturday arrived with the kind of perfect weather that felt like a setup. Clear skies when he'd away Feng, and David's anxiety cranked up to 11. Lily had changed outfits 6 times. Currently, she wore her yellow sundress with the sunflowers and was attempting to French braid her own hair in the bathroom mirror. "Daddy, can you help?" David stood behind her fingers, working through her curls, the way YouTube had taught him 3 years ago. In the mirror, he saw Sarah's face in Lily's features, those same green eyes watching him. "You really like Jacob, huh? He's my best friend besides Emma at school, but Jacob's different. He understands things." "What things?" "Sad things, missing people things." She met his eyes in the mirror. "He misses his dad the way I miss Mom." "We don't have to explain it to each other." David's hands stilled. "Bug, I didn't know you talked about that." "We don't talk about it, we just know. That's better sometimes." She tilted her head. "Do you like Jacob's mom?" The question landed like a grenade. "She's nice." "That's not what I asked. 7 years old and already reading him like a book." "I think she's trying really hard to be better for Jacob. That's admirable." "Aunt Marie says she's too rich for us." David's jaw clenched. "Aunt Marie shouldn't say things like that to you." "She didn't say it to me. She said it to Uncle Frank on the phone, but I heard." Lily turned around. "Is she too rich for us, Daddy?" "Money doesn't make people better or worse. It just makes them different." "But do you like her? Like her, Lily? Because she looks at you the way Princess Anna looks at Kristoff, before she knows she likes him, all confused and smiley. You're 7. You shouldn't be this perceptive." "Mom always said I got your brains and her heart. That's a dangerous combination." David pulled her into a hug. "You're going to rule the world someday, you know that." "I know. Can we bring the brownies I made?" "You made brownies last night while you were sleeping. YouTube taught me. They're a little burned, but only on the edges." He followed her to the kitchen where a pan of chocolate brownies sat cooling. They were indeed burned on the edges, also somehow raw in the middle. Perfect disaster. "They're beautiful, Bug. We'll bring them." At 5:30, they pulled up to an address in the hills that made David's stomach drop. The house wasn't a house, it was an estate. Gates, circular driveway, probably 5 bathrooms for 3 people. "Whoa," Lily breathed. "It's like a castle." "It's just a house. A really big house." David parked his beat-up Honda next to Emily's sleek sedan and felt every year of rust and duct tape repairs. The backup pizza in the passenger seat suddenly seemed insulting, like showing up to a 5-star restaurant with McDonald's. Before he could spiral further, the front door opened. Jacob burst out in shorts and a t-shirt with an elephant on it. "Lily!" "Jacob!" They collided on the driveway in a hug. Emily appeared in the doorway wearing jeans, actual jeans, and a simple white t-shirt, hair down, barefoot. David had never seen her look more beautiful. "You found it," she said, smiling. "I was worried the GPS would send you to the wrong gate. There are 3. 3 gates." "I know, it's ridiculous. My father believed in security, also showing off." She looked at the pizza box. "Please tell me that's backup because I burned the chicken." "Badly cremated. The smoke alarm went off twice. Jacob thinks I'm trying to burn the house down." "I brought brownies," Lily announced, holding up the pan. "They're a little burned too, but Daddy says that's character." Emily laughed. "They're perfect. Come in. Fair warning, the house is huge and empty, and I still get lost sometimes." The interior was exactly what David expected. Marble floors, high ceilings, art that probably cost more than his annual salary, but there were also signs of life now. Jacob's drawings on the fridge, toys in the corner of the massive living room, a blanket fort that took up half the space. "We built that this morning," Emily said, following his gaze. "Jacob's been planning it all week. It's structurally unsound and blocking the TV, but I'm told it's perfect." "Can we show Lily?" Jacob was already pulling her toward it. "Go ahead," Emily said. "Just don't destroy anything expensive." The kids disappeared into the fort. David and Emily stood in the kitchen that was bigger than his entire house. "This is some setup," he said. It's too much. I know. My father bought it to impress clients. I keep meaning to sell it and get something normal, but... She shrugged. Inertia. And Jacob's school is nearby. And I guess part of me still cares what people think. We all care what people think. Anyone who says otherwise is lying. Even you, especially me. I drove here terrified you'd realize I don't belong in your world. Emily moved closer. David, this isn't my world. It's my father's world. I'm just living in it out of habit. She gestured around. All this, it doesn't mean anything. The fort in the living room means something. Jacob laughing means something. You being here means something. Emily, I'm going to say something and you can't run away, okay? His heart kicked into overdrive. Okay. That night in the storm changed my life, not just because of the proposal, because of you. How you treated us, how you loved Lily, how you were kind when you had every right to slam the door in my face. She took a breath. I can't stop thinking about it, about you. And I know that's complicated because of work and because I'm your boss and because this could be a disaster, but Emily, he stopped her. I think about it too. She froze. You do, constantly. You in those orange sweats. Jacob sleeping peaceful. The way you looked reading the proposal like it was the most important thing in the world. The way you showed up to show and tell and cried in front of 22nd graders. He stepped closer. You scare the hell out of me. This scares the hell out of me. But I can't stop thinking about it either. So what do? I have no idea. They stood there in her massive kitchen, a foot apart, the air between them electric. Ma, Jacob's voice from the fort. We need snacks for our expedition. The moment broke. Emily laughed, shaky. Expedition. Apparently they're exploring the Arctic. The living room is now the North Pole. Of course it is. She moved to the fridge. Cheese sticks okay for Arctic exploration. Perfect. They brought snacks to the fort. The kids had draped every blanket in the house over furniture to create a maze of rooms. Lily's elephant and Jacob's stuffed animals were arranged as expedition team members. This is amazing, David said. We're going to find the lost city, Lily explained seriously. It's behind the couch. Very dangerous journey, Jacob added. We might not make it back. Well, we'll have pizza ready when you do, Emily said. The kids disappeared back into their adventure. Emily and David retreated to the kitchen. I can't believe I'm saying this, Emily said, pulling plates from a cabinet, but I'm grateful for the burned chicken. This feels more real somehow, less pressure. Plus, pizza's better anyway. Truth. She opened the box. From Sal's. Good choice. You know Sal's. Are you kidding? Best pizza in the city? My guilty pleasure when I'm working late and can't face another protein bowl. The CEO eats Sal's. The CEO is human. Shocking, I know. They ate at the kitchen island, the sound of kids playing in the background, and it felt almost normal, almost like something that could work. Can I ask you something? Emily said. And you have to be honest. Shoot. Is Marie right? Is this a terrible idea? So Lily had talked. Of course she had. Marie thinks any relationship with a power imbalance is doomed to fail. Is she wrong? I don't know. Maybe. Probably. But he met her eyes. I'm willing to find out if you are. Emily set down her pizza. David, if we do this, really do this, it changes everything. Work gets complicated. The board will have opinions. Parker will use it against us. Your life becomes public, scrutinized. People will say terrible things. I know. And if it doesn't work out, if we try and fail, you lose your job. I lose credibility. The kids lose each other. I know that too. So why are you willing to risk it? Because Sarah used to say the biggest regret isn't failure. It's wondering what if. He reached across the island, took her hand. I've had 3 years of playing it safe, of surviving instead of living. And then a storm dropped you on my porch, and everything shifted. I don't want to spend the next 3 years wondering what if. Emily's eyes filled. I'm terrified. Me too. I'm going to mess this up. I'm bad at relationships. Richard left because I was cold and distant and married to work. You're not that person anymore. You're choosing differently. What if I slip back? What if work takes over and I become the ice queen again? Then I'll remind you, that's what partners do. Partners, she smiled through tears. I like that. Mom, Dad, come see, Jacob's voice from the living room. They both froze. Did he just... Emily started. He called me Dad. David finished stunned. They rushed to the living room. The kids had emerged from the fort, both holding drawings. We found the lost city, Lily announced, and Jacob drew the map. Jacob held up a crayon drawing of their fort expedition with stick figures labeled. One said Jacob, one said Lily, two taller ones said Mom and Dad. Emily's hand went to her mouth. Buddy, David said gently, kneeling down. I'm not your dad. Jacob's face fell. But I want you to be. My real dad doesn't want me. He has a new family, but you're nice and you tell stories and you don't yell. His voice got small. Can't you be my dad instead? Emily dropped to her knees, pulling Jacob into a hug. Baby, your real dad does love you. He's just confused right now, and David is wonderful, but he could be wonderful, and my dad, people can be two things. You said so. David felt his heart crack open. This kid, this broken, hopeful kid who just wanted someone to stay. How about this? David said carefully. I can't replace your dad, but I can be someone who's here, who shows up, who tells stories and helps with homework and thinks you're pretty great. Would that work? Jacob considered this seriously. Like a friend, Dad. Exactly like that. Okay, can Lily be my friend's sister? Obviously, Lily said like it was the most natural thing in the world. We already decided that. The kids went back to playing. Emily and David stood slowly. I'm sorry, Emily whispered. I should have prepared him, explained boundaries. This is too much, too fast. Emily, look at them. In the blanket fort, Lily and Jacob were arranging stuffed animals in family groups, talking about their expedition, completely content. They're happy, David said, and they're healing each other. Maybe we should take notes. You're not worried this is moving too fast. I'm terrified it's moving too fast, but I'm more terrified of wasting time being scared when we could be living. Emily leaned against him, just slightly. He put his arm around her shoulders. They stood like that watching their kids play, and it felt like coming home. The doorbell shattered the moment. Emily tensed. I'm not expecting anyone. She went to the door. David heard voices, then Emily saying, Parker, this is my private home. You can't just... Parker Thompson pushed past her into the house. We need to talk about the pilot program. There are serious concerns. He stopped when he saw David, then the kids, then the pizza boxes and blanket fort and very clear domestic scene. Well, this is interesting. Get out, Emily said, voice like steel. Is this why you're pushing the family-friendly policies? Because you're playing house with the janitor? David stepped forward. Watch it. Oh, this is perfect. Wait till the board hears about this. The CEO romantically involved with an employee she promoted. That's not a conflict of interest at all. We're not, Emily started. Please, I have eyes. This whole setup reeks of impropriety. The board will have you removed within a week. The board will do no such thing, a voice said from the doorway. Margaret Chen walked in immaculate in weekend casual that probably cost more than David's car. Margaret, Parker sputtered. I was just overstepping as usual. She looked at Emily. I apologize for the intrusion. Parker called an emergency board meeting for Monday. Claims there are ethical violations regarding the pilot program. I came to get your side before he spins this into something it's not. Emily's face had gone pale. There are no violations. David and I are colleagues, David finished. Working on the pilot, that's all. Margaret's eyes flicked between them. That's all. The lie sat there, fragile, obvious. Yes, Emily said firmly. David is my employee. We're implementing the board-approved pilot. Whatever Parker thinks he saw, I saw cozy domestic bliss. Pizza and kids calling him Dad. This isn't professional, it's personal. So what if it is? The words came from David before he could stop them. So what if we're friends? So what if our kids get along? That doesn't change the validity of the proposal. That doesn't change the data or the projections or the fact that this program will save the company millions while actually helping people. It changes everything, Parker sneered. It shows Emily's judgment is compromised, that she's making decisions based on emotion instead of logic. No, David said. It shows she's making decisions based on humanity instead of profit margins. There's a difference. Margaret held up a hand. Enough. Parker, your concerns are noted, but calling an emergency meeting based on speculation is inappropriate. David and Emily's personal relationship, whatever it may or may not be, doesn't invalidate a board-approved pilot. But, however, Margaret continued looking at Emily, appearances matter. If there is anything developing here beyond professional collaboration, it needs to be disclosed formally, to avoid even the perception of impropriety. There's nothing to disclose, Emily said, but her voice wavered. Margaret's expression softened. Emily, I'm not your enemy, but I am a realist. If you're starting something with David, do it right. Transparent, by the book, because Parker will use any ammunition he can find to undermine you. There's nothing. Mom! Jacob appeared from the fort. Why is everyone yelling? The room went silent. Jacob looked at Parker, then Margaret, then clutched his elephant tighter. Emily went to him immediately. No one's yelling, baby. These are people from work. They're leaving now. But we're having pizza. They can have some if they want. The innocence of it broke something in the room. Margaret smiled. That's very kind, but we can't stay. Emily, we'll talk Monday before the meeting. She looked at David. Mr. Marshall, your presentation Wednesday was impressive. Don't let politics undermine good work. She left. Parker lingered, smirking. This isn't over. It never is with you, Emily said. But we're done for tonight. Get out of my house. He left. Emily closed the door and leaned against it. I'm sorry, David said. For what? For complicating your life. For putting the pilot at risk. Stop. This is Parker being Parker. We knew he'd push back. We just didn't expect him to show up at my house on a Saturday. She moved back to the kitchen. But Margaret's right. If there's something here, we need to handle it properly. Is there something here? Emily looked at him across the island where they'd eaten pizza an hour ago like normal people on a normal date. I don't know. Maybe. Probably. But maybe we need to slow down. Figure out the work stuff first. Get the pilot running, then see where we are. It was the smart choice. The safe choice. The choice that protected everyone. David hated it, but he nodded. Okay, slow. Not stopping, just slow. Right. Lily and Jacob emerged from the fort, oblivious to the adult drama. Can we watch a movie? Jacob asked. Which one? Frozen. David's never seen it. Emily looked at David. You've never seen Frozen. I've seen it 47 times. Lily makes me. 48 after tonight, Lily announced. It's tradition. They settled on the massive couch kids between them, Frozen playing on a screen that was probably bigger than David's bedroom. The fort loomed in the background like evidence of something that could be. During Let It Go, Jacob fell asleep against Emily's shoulder. Lily was out by the time they reached the trolls. Two kids exhausted from their Arctic expedition, completely at peace. We should get them to bed, Emily whispered. David carried Lily. Emily carried Jacob. They met in the hallway between rooms. This could be our life, Emily said quietly, if we let it. Or it could blow up spectacularly. Risk and reward. Very CEO of you. She smiled. Old habits. They stood there, each holding a sleeping child, the future hanging between them, uncertain and terrifying and full of possibility. David. Yeah. Whatever we do, whatever happens with work or Parker or any of it, I don't regret that storm. I don't regret knocking on your door. Me either. Even if this is all we get, pizza and frozen and one perfect Saturday. Even then, he kissed her, softly, carefully, over the head of his sleeping daughter with her sleeping son between them. It wasn't romantic or passionate or anything like the movies. It was real. And when they pulled apart, Emily was smiling. Okay, we'll figure this out. Together. 3 months later, the pilot program was a massive success. Turnover down 22%, productivity up 18%. Employee satisfaction scores through the roof. The board approved company-wide implementation. Parker Thompson was transferred to a different division. Margaret Chen became Emily's strongest ally. David moved into a new office 2 floors below Emily's. Director of Human-Centered Operations. Salary that let him breathe. Hours that let him be there for Lily. Emily made it to every one of Jacob's school events. Started leaving work at 5. Learned to cook without setting off smoke alarms. The kids had playdates every weekend. Sometimes at David's house, sometimes at Emily's. The blanket fort became permanent. And on a Saturday, 6 months after the storm on a lake where the kids laughed and threw rocks and chased each other through the shallows, David and Emily sat on a dock watching the sun set. Funny how storms work, David said. How so? They destroy things, flood roads, knock out power, strand people in places they never meant to be. He took her hand. But sometimes they bring exactly what you need, right to your door. Emily leaned her head on his shoulder. Think the storm's over. I think we're in the calm after, the rebuilding part. I like rebuilding. Me too. On the shore, Jacob was teaching Lily how to skip stones. She was terrible at it. He was patient. They were laughing. They're going to be okay, Emily said. Yeah, they are. We're going to be okay too. Yeah, we are. And sitting there with the woman who'd once humiliated him and was now his partner in every sense of the word, watching their kids build something beautiful from their broken pieces, David knew it was true. The storm had passed, the rain had stopped, but what it left behind was worth every second of thunder, every moment of fear, every risk they'd taken, because sometimes the storm doesn't just pass. Sometimes it changes everything. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, it drops exactly the right person on your doorstep, right when you need them most, even if you don't know it yet.